Yes, I'm aware.
Unsecured connection. No shit, app. It's you guys, everyone.
Stop.
appropriate now.
Hey y'all,
because of
we're gonna start maybe 10,
certain
15 minutes late just
situations
because
that
there's
we're
not a
not-
lot of people here right now and a lot of people seem to be running late, so just so y'all know.
We're starting 15 minutes late.
All right, everybody, we're not gonna start for another 5, 10-ish minutes, most likely. We're still waiting on a fair amount of people who are running late. I already said this, but just for anyone who's who have just joined. All right, we'll begin momentarily. We're just waiting on one or two people to go grab some things and arrive.
All right, everybody, we're gonna get started here. I'm gonna call this meeting to order at 5:08 PM. All right, so the first thing I would like to do is just say the little situation we got going on. President Johnson is unable to attend due to some familial issues, along with Vice President Matthews is also unable to attend due to her internship in South Korea at the moment. This leaves us with an open chair position falling to Steering Chair Valdez. Steering Chair Valdez has yielded the chair position, which would then leave it to Parliamentarian Vella, which Parliamentarian Vella has also yielded the chair position. So per our line of succession, this opens the floor to a vote to chair the meeting. I will now open the floor to candidates to chair this meeting. If there are any candidates at this time, seeing a raise from Chairperson Lavelle. Red flag from Legislator Markowitz in the chat. Are there any other candidates to chair this meeting at this time?
I would like to chair the meeting.
All right, seeing a candidate raised by Legislator Lunger. Are there any other candidates at this time? Seeing none, I believe the best course of action will move into a secret ballot vote.
Yeah.
All right, we will now move, if one would make a motion to recess, we may vote a secret ballot vote. All right, motion to recess.
For how long?
Let's do 5 minutes.
Motion to recess by 5 minutes raised by Chairperson Waters. Do I have a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Chairperson Valdez. We'll move into a 5-minute long recess, so we may do a secret ballot vote to elect the chair of this meeting. I will send this invite out over email.
Honestly, I like this.
Legislator Lunger, did you have a point?
No, I just raised my hand because I'd like to be a candidate.
Okay, I will send out a form right now.
Thank you.
I didn't get the secret ballot yet. Was it sent out?
No, I'm working on creating it right now. I didn't anticipate having to make one.
Oh, Canada. I also practice small. Hi, Wilbur.
All right, I sent it out over email to everybody. I sent it over Slack. I sent it in the Slack.
Why?
So everybody check the general of Slack to there's a Google form in there.
Yeah, like, no.
I can't open it.
Oh, yeah.
You say you can't open the form?
Yeah.
Okay, I will try sending it to you directly.
Okay, thank you.
Are you logged into your OU account?
No.
You have to be logged into your Oakland University account.
Well, I'm logged into the Oakland University Gmail.
That's the one you need. I texted over you Slack directly. I will send it now over email in case you need that.
Thank
Once again, to everybody online, we are electing a chair currently. The responders link is in the Slack.
I've never chaired a meeting before. It would be pretty interesting.
You also can't open, okay.
Make sure you're using your oakland.edu email.
Yeah, make sure you're using your oakland.edu email, otherwise you will not be able to open it.
Slack, I think general.
It's over Slack in the general.
Make sure you're using your Oakland email.
Yeah.
Okay, noted, Legislator Snell.
How can you tell this?
Okay. Has everybody been able to vote?
My link still isn't working.
Okay, as I said, are you on your oakland.edu email?
Yes, and it says sorry, unable to open this file at this time.
I'm also having that problem. Could you send it through email because then I can access it with my laptop?
Okay, okay, yeah, I will send it to you, Michael. Emily, I did send it to you over email already.
Yeah, and it's still not working.
Yes, I don't know what to do after that point. Zach, I just sent it to you over email. Michael, I just sent it to you over email as well.
Thank you.
I need to talk to all the PSYOP stuff that you, print up windows.
Has everybody been able to access?
People in person, did you all vote?
Did everybody get to vote in person?
Everybody first vote?
Vince and Mario, did you guys get to vote?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Has everybody online voted?
Yeah, I was able to.
Okay,
I was also able to.
Me.
all right. With that, our 5 minutes is up and we have the recess has expired. Saying somebody joined? Okay, yep, recess has expired, the meeting has resumed at 5:17 PM. I will now announce the results of the election. With a result of 13 votes to 2, Chairperson LaBelle has won the election and will now be chairing the meeting.
Thank you all, and with that, we will move on to roll call. When I say your name, please state whether you are present and voting. Speaker DeVore.
Present and voting. Wait, no, actually, I can't.
Oh, yeah, you're not. Never mind. Apologies. She will be marked as absent. Majority Leader Brummer is excused. I will mark myself absent due to chairing the meetings. Chairperson Valdez.
Present.
Chairperson Waters.
President voting.
Parliamentarian Vella.
Present.
Legislator Barris will be late. Legislator Jiswicki. Legislator Fayette.
Present and voting.
Legislator Iveza. Legislator Lunger.
Present.
Legislator Maku.
Present.
Legislator Markowitz. Present in the chat. Legislator Martino. Legislator Mays. Legislator Masson.
Present.
Thank you. Legislator Nickel. Legislator Obra. Legislator Prishendaro.
Present.
Legislator Rosario.
Present.
Legislator Searbu will be absent. Legislator Smith? Legislator Snell?
Present and voting.
Legislator Van Patten? See a present in the chat. Legislator Wiegand?
Present.
And Legislator Wolf?
Present.
Thank you very much. We have met quorum. With that, we will move on to the land acknowledgement. Further, we recognize the wrongs done to those forcibly removed from their homelands and commit to fostering an environment of inclusion that is responsive to the needs of First Peoples through our words, policies, and actions. Moving on, we will move on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda at this time? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
All opposed? All right. Moving on, we will move to a guest speaker. We have Adrian Jimenez Morales, the prospective chair of the Reese Committee. This is presented by Clover DeVore. DeVore, you have the floor.
All right, everybody, I'd like to direct your attention to CB 6806, if you would. So the reason I have Adrian going up as a guest speaker today is because he will be the one going up for chair for that committee being created. Obviously, since he is not a member of OUSC, he is not able to sponsor the legislation, so I'm sponsoring it in his favor. So I wanted to give him a little bit of space to just talk a little bit about himself, why the committee is being created, and why he thinks he's a good person for the committee, obviously since he can't talk during debate. So I will leave the floor to Adrian to let him talk a little bit about himself, and you may ask him any questions after he's done talking.
Whichever one. You can go up to that one. You can come up to this one.
It doesn't really matter.
Oh, you got to switch it on.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Adrian Jimenez Morales. I'm a senior journalism, work at the Oakland Post, and the idea of the committee it came from Clover. They introduced me to this committee. Told me maybe I was a good fit for the chair of such a committee, and I agreed. And from my understanding, it's just a place where we can gather as many diverse backgrounds as we can to become part of the important conversations that we're having on campus and off campus, especially with the rise of very dangerous or harmful initiatives, legal and illegal in that sense. So I guess from my experience, just gathering the community to talk about immigration, something that affects international students, ICE, something that affects many demographics, including Hispanic community, or it's not a limited space. We want to have as many voices as we can, as diverse as we can, and just be another cog in the machine of what we think will make the campus better. So we are, or at least I am at your full disposal. If I can help in any I don't know, legislation or whatever, if my insight can be of help, please rest assured that I'll try my best to gather as much as I can, as well-rounded as I can, of an insight to illustrate someone's voice on campus. But yeah, hopefully that came out well.
Does anyone have any questions for our guest speaker at this time? Speaker DeVore.
So something I know about you is you also work as part of the CMI. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about some of your work you do there and any work you've done with any of the other cultural groups on campus.
Yes, absolutely. The CMI, that's a new job. I'm working with Jimena actually. So we are peer mentors. So at the CMI, the mission of the office is to empower students of color and minority students coming to Oakland University, and to make sure that they maintain their studies. So not only that we are a welcoming environment, but also an empowering environment. So they complete their degrees, maybe even more degrees, a master's, a doctorates. So that's our mission, just talking to freshmen and sophomores, which I think would be great insight for this committee. From very diverse backgrounds. We just had a chance to meet them last week, I believe, a couple of the freshmen. So very fresh voices, insights. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna be following up with them throughout the semester. So I think we'll have pretty accurate and up-to-date insight as far as that goes. And as far as other organizations on campus go, I mostly work with the Hispanic orgs. Right now, we're just organizing our semester, but through the Oakland Post, I've had the chance to meet most of the different clubs on campus that focus on specific demographics. So that's also something pretty nice, something I know that's being worked on, like international initiatives, more overlap between, I don't know, Pacific Islander clubs and I don't know, Middle Eastern clubs, you know, that those are conversations that are going on. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Chairperson Waters.
Thank you. I wanted to build off of something that was like touched on in that response, and that is the Oakland Post. I would like to hear about what you've done at the Oakland Post and what possible insights that your work there may have in this position.
Wonderful question. Thank you. At the Oakland Post, I've been working there as campus editor for the past 2 years. So I'd like to think that I'm pretty familiar with what's going on campus and sometimes behind the scenes. Today I got the chance to talk to the new provost. So that's been real nice. We're gonna write a story on that and, you know, opening communications with her, with Pescovitz. You know, that's also some insight that maybe we wouldn't have such readily available. So I do plan on utilizing that, if not as a voice, definitely as a place for questions that we can direct towards them. And yeah, mostly focusing on what students want to talk about. So anything that's of interest to you, that's what we're gonna write about on the newspaper. So please, if this committee or the OUSCS has any questions or wants something to be talked about on the public sphere of campus, please let us know, because that's definitely something that we are willing to do.
Thank you, I appreciate it. You'll...
Are there any more questions for our guest speaker at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on. Yep, thank you, Adrian. Moving on, we'll go to announcements. Are there any announcements from the body at this time? Seeing none, we will move into new business. Up first, we have the approval of Colin Black for legislator. This is presented by Speaker DeVore. Speaker DeVore, you have the floor.
All right, you guys are gonna be hearing a lot from me today. This is just the second time. All right, so up now we have the approval of Colin Black. They've been sitting on the back burner since I got this position. I think I stepped foot in the speakership and I got their signatures. So I think that probably breaks Marcus's record for fastest given signatures of any perspective. Just for sake of clarity to all of the newer people about how the perspective process works, since you might not have been a part of it if you were brought in the past election. So how it works is basically someone will reach out to me, just saying like, hey, I want to join Student Congress. So after that, I'll meet with them. They're like, okay, cool, you get to join Student Congress. This is the process you'll have to go through. They'll have to get a sheet, well, they have to sign 50 signatures done. They'll get approved by Jean Ann in the back, which Colin already did. Like I said, basically first thing I did when I got the speakership, it was kind of funny. After they got those signatures in, during the process of which they're getting approved by Jean Ann, they will meet with me a second time during the little interview thing I've been trying to create, which I met with Colin yesterday to do that. Along with, they will have to attend a couple of GBMs. So they were at the one 2 weeks ago, as I said, and they're at the second one today, which they will be going up for approval. And yeah, that's about how the perspective process works. With that though, I will let Colin speak on behalf of themselves. And yeah, I'll give the floor to Colin.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay?
I believe we can.
Yep.
Excellent. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for having me. My name is Cullen Black. I am a member of the class of 2028 here at OU. I'm majoring in secondary education with a focus in history and social studies, and I would like to be a member of Student Congress. I came to Oakland from mid-Michigan. I don't know if I'm holding up the right hand, but I'm about here, about an hour and a half out. And coming in with a new perspective and very unfamiliar with the campus and the broader community, I fell in love very fast. My first semester was incredible. I feel like I've really found a home here. And after becoming so immersed in and developing such a fondness for this campus, this area, this community, I'll say it again, I didn't want to just sit back and not really engage with it in some fashion. And so I started really wanting to take up some sort of role to help make it better. It's from my perspective as like a relatively new person coming in, I've found a lot to love, but I do think there's always work to be done. And it's like Adrian was saying earlier, I'd like to be a cog in the machine of helping make this a better campus. I think that's an excellent way of putting it. One of the ways I've been doing this, or one of the ways I'm about to begin doing this, I suppose, is that I am set to be a teaching assistant for the Honors College in the fall, taking up a leadership position, helping get the freshman class integrated into college through the HC 1000 class that the Honors College puts on. But in addition to that, I had long had familiarity with Student Congress, or at least knew of it. They were some of the first people I talked to at welcome events. They were tabling. I got to know some of the legislators pretty early on. And the more Student Congress hosted events I went to, the more that I heard from friends and peers and colleagues what Student Congress was up to, what they were doing. I thought that it would be an excellent place for me to go. I thought that my help and my skill set would perhaps be valuable here. As far as that skill set, excuse me, goes, I like to think I am a gifted writer. Well, I don't like to think that. That's been, I think, demonstrated pretty clearly. I write well in an academic context and in a technical context. It's one of my greatest skills. I am a gifted and articulate speaker, broadly speaking, and I think this is the biggest one. I am a very good, empathetic, and patient listener. I'm committed to making the most of any task that I'm given. Speaker DeVore, in helping me prepare for all this, ran through all of the different committee positions and working group roles that I could hypothetically be put into as a legislator, and I did not see anything in that list that I wouldn't be perfectly content, if not outright overjoyed to be working on. And not for nothing, I do think that my broad connections around campus would be a valuable asset. Obviously, the social element is not everything, but I do think that having, as an institution, Student Congress having its finger on the pulse, so to speak, of what the student body cares about, what they want out of Student Congress as an institution, is very important. And I have connections, peers, friends from all walks of life on campus, everyone from student athletes to people within my major, and I'm involved in all manner of extracurriculars. So I have this not unique, but definitely heightened ability to seek out perspectives from the student body that may not perhaps otherwise be given a voice or be necessarily inclined to reach out and use their voice. I'm still developing some original ideas for initiatives. One that I thought of recently is that I've heard a lot of legislator peers talk about the fact that third spaces and hangout spaces across campus are severely and tragically underused, which I wholeheartedly agree with. And something that I thought of is that perhaps Student Congress could do its meet the legislator meeting or events, or just host events more generally, perhaps in these hangout spaces in various buildings across campus if we could get them reserved. Beyond that, I do think that across the various meetings I've been to, I've seen a lot of initiatives put forward that I am very interested in and want to help consolidate if I can. One of those would be the piece of legislation introduced by Chairperson LaBelle on the 9th, the last meeting I attended, really regulating and controlling the use of generative AI in Student Congress procedures, including promotional materials, the legislation itself, that sort of thing. Because I think it's a great example of the way that Student Congress can lead by example, in the sense of promoting in an official capacity the values that the university cares about and that especially the student body are concerned with. It's stuff that's relevant to their experiences as students. And I think that the further initiatives on that front that I've heard of to enter into dialogue with faculty about a way of standardizing AI regulation across campus life more generally is extremely promising, and I would be very happy if there was some way that I could become involved in that. Beyond that, I have heard more times than I can count from Legislator Rosario about the prospect of putting a garden of some kind into the, I believe it's the patch of grass between Bear Lake and the Oakland Center. I'm getting a yes from Legislator Rosario. I, of course, support that wholeheartedly, but it's an example of something that I'm very invested in, which is the broader beautifying of the campus with stuff like gardens. And a lot of what our newly elected director of sustainability spoke about on the 9th sounded extremely promising to me. The potential initiative to get gardens on the roofs of buildings across campus sounded very exciting. And I do think that just those broad patches of grass around campus, something could absolutely be done with them that would make the campus more biodiverse, while possibly even saving cost on lawn care. I see the mowers out there all the time, and there's watering that always needs to be done. Perhaps both of those problems could be solved at once. But as I've emphasized already, I really would be happy with anything put in front of me. With that, I just want to thank all of you once again for considering me as a possible addition to the Student Congress team. I'm very grateful for your time, and that is all. Thank you.
Thank you all, Colin. With that, is there any questions for Colin at this time? Chairperson Waters?
Thank you. I just wanted to quickly ask, and I think I'm gonna ask, what, Lance, I think I know what you're gonna ask, and I'm gonna ask it. Do you have, I know you mentioned, what was it? Completely forgot. But there was do you have any like other specific like pieces of like initiatives that you have planned beyond like what we are already, what many of our legislators are already doing? Is there anything like that you have like that we're not doing that you feel we should be doing?
My only real note on that front, and I sort of touched on this a bit in proposing like having a meet the legislators event of some kind in like possibly neglected social spaces across campus, is just presenting Student Congress to the student body in a novel and unique way. I think we've seen from stuff like voter turnout and just from the amount of students that I've spoken to in the process of getting my signatures and just in general that either did not know that Student Congress existed at all or didn't know the first thing about how it operates. I think that's something worth taking into consideration and investing time into, is just finding new ways to bring forward Student Congress, speak to students about it, and really immerse ourselves in what the students have to say, what their concerns are, letting us, I say us presumptively, but forgive me, letting them know what we have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Legislator Markowitz, you have the floor.
So I just have a quick question. I would turn on my camera, but I'm driving, and also my face is stuffed with food. But very, very similar question. But I was curious if you wouldn't mind just describing your plan for the first 3 months that you're in Student Congress, roughly. I think all of us understand that the first 3 weeks or so is just like figuring out what the heck is going on. But once you get past that initial point, do you have kind of a clear plan in your head of these are the exact things that I want to partake in, whether it's your own initiatives or whether it's initiatives that already exist?
When I've envisioned myself in Student Congress, I've thought, as you've seen, just a bit in a sort of introductory, testing the waters sort of way about initiatives I'd like to bring forward myself. So as I get more acclimated, I can definitely see that being a priority of mine. But more than anything, I just see myself participating in wherever I end up as far as like front work is concerned, so to speak. Like, am I placed on a committee, placed on a working group, doing research on one thing or another, I suppose. As far as actually drawing up legislation, I've seen myself possibly working on that in collaboration with others. This is something I've always been fairly gifted at, is just bouncing ideas off of other people in writing, in just work of this sort. I hope that is a reasonable answer to your question.
Legislator Rosario, you have the floor.
Now, if I remember correctly, your Monday schedule is a bit conflicting in terms of student Congress meetings. How have you worked around this?
Yes, for those who don't know, as things stand right now, barring anything big changes, I am going to have a night class from about 5 to 8 on Monday nights. This is something that I've been a bit nervous about, and have had to consider potential conflicts and how I might work around them. The best answer I can give is just I plan to be as involved, as attentive, and as connected as I possibly can. And whether that looks like if there's meetings that I have to miss out on because they're on Monday nights during the exact time that I have that class, I think the best I can hope to do is just make sure that I am in the know about what was discussed, that I have read through the agenda thoroughly, that peers in Student Congress, that I've asked them about anything important that could apply to me or just in general that was taken up at the meeting. It's unfortunately an inevitability, but I fully intend, and I think this will be borne out with time, to work around it to the greatest possible degree I can.
Chairperson Waters?
Thank you. I just wanted to point out a little personal point of information. Yeah. First off, I thought that was a very good response, but also, as far as I'm aware, I don't think we haven't scheduled our fall meeting. So it could be Monday, but it could also be Wednesday, or Friday, or any other day. Although it's important to know that, I feel that at least as of right now, it's something we can work around. Thank you. Ariel.
Yep. If I may just add one more point, sort of responding to what Chairperson Waters just said, that would be wonderful. But I do not expect, I understand that this is bigger than me and that there's, 27 other schedules that need to be handled. So it would be nice were, the meetings to have to, it would be nice for the meetings to fall on another day, that it works out like that, but I don't necessarily want to be the keystone in that regard. I am more than willing to work around a scheduling conflict if a scheduling conflict comes up.
Chairperson Waters?
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. More like what I meant was especially assuming that you are approved at this meeting, we will be taking your scheduling into account when we make that. I mean, I know my first semester in Student Congress, it was Fridays at 5, right? Or 4? One of the two. Yeah, 4. It was Fridays at 4. And then I think last it was what? I actually forgot, but it was Wednesdays at 5, I believe. So I mean, assuming you are approved, we will be taking into account when you can, because we will have a little let us meet or whatever, to everybody puts their times on, and we can work around that. That I don't.
Are there any more questions for Colin Black at this time? Seeing none, Colin, I'm going to move you into a little Zoom waiting room while we discuss and while we vote. I will bring you back shortly. All right, Legislator Markowitz.
So just a quick question to the group. So personally, in listening to him, I thought that a lot of the answers he gave was really, really vague. And honestly, one of my concerns is that it kind of just sounds like there's a good chance that he comes in and just kind of goes with the flow, maybe is present, maybe isn't present. Not regarding his class time. Obviously, that's totally legitimate. But is there anybody that knows him well, knows his work ethic well, that might be able to speak on him and quell some of those concerns? Thank you. With that, I yield.
Speaker DeVore.
All right. Just before I quick talk, one quick point of information, Colin Black does use they them pronouns. Also, I did want to point out that I did meet with Colin yesterday. As I said, I'm going to try to meet with all the perspectives. The second time is like a little interview / feeling out process, just to get to know these people a little bit better. So something I noticed when I talked to them is, and something I'm sure you've all noticed during probably the longest perspective speech I've heard, was they're very well spoken and very well informed. As I said, they are friends with a numerous amount of student Congress people already. They brought up Legislator Rosario earlier in that. Along with, I've also met them outside through things like Sage. They're pretty active in that organization. I would like to say other things that they have also worked on. They are currently working to resurrect a anthropology club, which I thought was pretty neat. They're also heavily involved with several other organizations. I know something they're also involved in is YDSA, and as I said previously, Sage. While they don't have any previous experience with legislative work, that's not something we've really taken too much into account in the past because, I mean, we all already do our training thing already. So, I mean, how many of y'all really knew what a bill was before you got here? But regarding their availability, yeah, that's perfectly fine. We can work around one night class. I mean, I had one night class when I first joined as well, so I don't think that's too much of a concern personally. Other than that, they did seem pretty laid back outside of student Congress and outside of their work. However, I will say that their work ethic does seem very strong and that they are very strong-willed, and I think would be a good candidate personally for student Congress. With that, I will yield.
Thank you. Next, Chairperson Waters.
Yeah, I know Colin, I outside specifically with Sage, and I will say, and what is it, that I would agree with a lot of what Speaker DeVore said. I think Colin is very driven, and although, yeah, some of the answers may have been a little vague, I do feel that once Colin is in the position, and not only do I feel, I know once Colin is in the position, they will do very well with that idea.
Legislator Snell.
I also wanted to point out that having worked a little bit with Cullen through Echo Cognito, while they aren't the greatest of public speakers, I admit they're having seen this, they are really good at doing one-on-one speaking. They're great at connecting with others, meeting them where they're at. And more importantly, Cullen does have an amazing work ethic that I think this organization could use. While I recognize that hesitancy based off of how they presented themselves at the meet in their speech, I do think it would be a disservice to ourselves, to them, and to all of the students at Oakland University if we were to vote them out simply because they aren't a good public speaker. Student Congress is supposed to enable people to be able to be good public speakers, whether that means they speak from the gallery, speaking from the table as a legislature later, or otherwise. And so I really don't think we should be denying someone this opportunity to grow in public speaking because they aren't a good public speaker coming in. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Legislator Snell. Legislator Rosario.
Colin's been a good friend of mine since I think the second day after move-in of first semester last year. And he is a bit more quiet and stuff, but he has a great work ethic. And it's really not something to be worried about. And I think it's really good that he's coming in with the mindset of wanting to do the what he calls grunt work of student Congress. Because a lot of the time we have people who really want to write bills and have a lot of stuff done, but no one's actually there to do it. But as someone who's going to be an RA next year, he will be one of my residents, which is going to be a lot of fun. And we hung out almost every day last year. Like, don't worry about him not being in the know of anything. If the meetings happen to be sometime where he can't make it, either I or I'm sure someone else will be there to tell him everything. So it's really nothing to worry about in terms of his work ethic or him being kind of flowy. With that, I yield.
Legislator Mays.
Hello. Despite coming in probably halfway through his speech, even though it was slightly vague, I would agree with everyone else. Their work ethic is very, very good. As one of my friends, oh my gosh, they're like one of the only people who like actively asks what's going on during student congress during the entire semester. I would run into them during in the dining hall, especially after meetings and stuff. So they're very interested in making a change for the campus and student congress. And I think, you know, what Legislator Snell said, presentation isn't always all that there is to being, in student congress, and we should give them a chance. Thank you.
Legislator Wolf, did you still have a point?
Sure. I can attest to the quality of Colin Black's character. They're an incredibly empathetic, and empathetic and personal and very personable. I've observed like their values. They are a very principled person, and really value, diversity, and and really respects all sides and all perspectives. I yield the floor.
Legislator Prishandaro.
Okay, I wanted to ask, I've only met Cullen a handful of times, but to the people who know them better, what are your biggest like concerns or potential negative aspects holding them back from doing student congress work? Because I mean, it doesn't seem like there are any major ones, but what might the drawbacks be?
Speaker DeVore.
Well, I'm personally also unable to answer that question for you. One thing I did forget to mention was I would like to attest their commitment to, in my words, stand on business. Something I've wanted to regain within the legislature is a commitment to, like, in the face of criticism, be able to stand for your opinion, even if like someone might not like it as much. They were able to talk a very long time about their commitment to that, both in their previous professional life and professional or unprofessional, just outside of professional environments. It's something that they were definitely very committed to, and I think that's a culture that I want to regain in student congress, and I'm really proud of them for even having that coming in. That was something I also wanted to personally attest to. Legislator Prishandaro, though, I did not have a current answer to that question.
Legislator Snell.
I also just wanted to kind of point out, I feel that also if we're just going to go based off of their that while yes, their character is sparkling, and on that I think we all can agree, if we're going to go based off of their ability to speak publicly, that's not quite the hang up in this organization, as I really don't see it. Seeing as, again, for a majority of the people, we hear the same 5 voices in every meeting anyways. So, I mean, while yes, it would be encouraged to hear more, and I would love to hear from them in the various meetings, they have the opportunity to speak up. If they choose not to do it at the public facing meetings, and they choose not to do it on a louder scale, I don't think that should come at a detriment to them. With that, I yield.
Chairperson Waters, you saw something?
No, I was just going to say that I was going to motion to go into a vote.
All right, seeing as we have 15 seconds left on the timer anyway, we are going to move into a vote at this time. All right. Legislator Mays, are you present or present voting?
Present.
And Legislator Ober, are you present or present voting?
Present.
Thank you. Did I remove that? I did not. All right. With that, we will move into a roll call vote on the approval of Cullen Black. Chairperson Waters.
Yay.
Legislator Fayette,
Yay.
Legislator Snell,
Yay.
Chairperson Valdez, Parliamentarian Vella,
Yay.
Legislator Lunger,
Yay.
Legislator Maku,
Yay.
Legislator Markowitz,
Yay.
Legislator Martino, Legislator Mays,
Yay.
Legislator Mason,
Yay.
Legislator Obra,
Yay.
Legislator Prishendaro,
Yay.
Legislator Rosario,
Yay.
seeing a yay in chat from Legislator Van Patten, Legislator Weekend,
Yay.
and Legislator Wolf. All right, so let me bring back Colin. Oh, it's over here. Welcome back, Colin. You have been approved as a new legislator interested in Congress.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much. I truly appreciate it.
Let me add you to the roll call sheet right now. Message in chat. Clapping. Oh my gosh, clapping. Yep, I know. Oh my gosh, this keyboard is very tiny. All right, Legislator Black, are you present and present voting?
I am present.
Thank you very much. Let me see if that actually added you to the list. It did not. Lovely. We fix that.
I think you're just gonna add them individually.
I will add you individually. All right, moving on the agenda. Next up, we have CB 6804. This is presented by Clover DeVore. This is a first reading. It is not eligible for a vote. Speaker DeVore, you have the floor. Oh, come on.
Supervisor Miller, can you approve the duo push for us, please? It locked me out earlier already too.
Dual push is dead. No, wait, no. If there are no
Thank you,
fans of dual
Gina.
push,
Thank you, Advisor. All right, with that, Speaker DeVore, you may begin.
All right, so you may be wondering, Clover, how is CB 6804 on the agenda? Are we approving CB 6805 later on the agenda? You're probably not thinking that. That's kind of a weird thing to think. But yeah, this bill is something I've probably been working on since I became speaker. It's something that's been on the back burner for quite a while. I've been in talks with the previous SAFB chair, Divya Agarwala, along with current SAFB chair, Hallie Ludwig. As you can see on the supporters, I got the last 4 SAFB chairs on my supporters. So I've talked quite a bit with SAFB about this, but basically what this is in response to the failed attempt at separation during the last administration. This is during that separation attempt, we resolved to focus on reform efforts with SAFB, trying to mend the relationship during this administration. This is just a public forum for that. If you want, I will read the bill. Basically, it creates an ad hoc committee to provide an open forum for Student Activities Funding Board and the University Student Congress to hear and address concerns related to the relationship between them. This committee shall be known as the SAFB Reform Committee. This committee shall be chaired by the Speaker of the Legislature. It'll have seats for all members of SAFB Executive Board, along with all members of Student Congress. There'll be a minimum member requirement to meet for this committee. It'll be myself, the Speaker of the Legislature, the Student Committee's Funding Board Chair, and the Judiciary Chair. The Judiciary Chair is on there. They are the person that's supposed to be the final judge on the bylaws of both organizations. So I felt like they would be a good person to have involved in those conversations, dealing with bylaw potentially and trying to mend the relationship, as I said. The committee shall meet at minimum once per month. It's recommended that we meet a little bit more than that, 2 to 3 times per month potentially. It'll be a public forum of Student Congress. That basically just means there's gonna be no maximum member requirement. All members of both Student Congress and SAFB are encouraged to attend the meetings. And before the end of this, obviously it's an ad hoc committee, so it'll be dissolved at the end of the year. But prior to that, it may be dissolved, provided that we have a 2/3 majority vote by the Student Congress Legislature, along with the unanimous vote of the SAFB board. Are there any questions about this bill?
Chairperson Waters.
Yes. I just wanted to point, I just wanted to like maybe a little tweak. Would we maybe be amendable to changing that 2/3 majority to maybe a 3/4? I feel like it should be very difficult to overturn this.
All right. Only reason I have a 2/3 is just that's kind of keeping consistent with how we usually do voting. It's like half and 2/3. I mean, I can change it to 3/4 if that's something that the legislature would want. But 2/3 I felt like a good number to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still more of a fan of the 3/4, but like if the legislature is fine with 2/3, I will, I'm fine with it. I don't.
Legislator Mays.
I'm not sure if I'm just thinking too much on it, but the name being SAFB Reform Committee, but it's supposed to be able to make sure that SAFB and OUSC have good connections. I just kind of don't like the name just a little bit because it seems like the committee is about just like making sure that SAFB is like reformed instead of talking about the connection, trying to keep the connection between OUSC and SAFB. But I could be thinking too much about it. What do you guys think? And I yield the floor.
No, I got you. I'm very amendable to changing the name. That was kind of just like a, I guess this works kind of thing. If anybody has another name like proposal, I would be more than open to changing that. I definitely agree though, it can be misconstrued into being just us talking to them about changing it. Legislator Black, that is a very good suggestion. I would be more than open to changing that to that. That would be a very friendly amendment.
Would anyone like to propose that as an amendment at this time?
I would.
Raise your placard. You have to make a motion.
Sorry. I make a motion to amend the name of the SAFB Reform Committee to the OUSC SAFB Reform Committee.
And Speaker DeVore, is this a friendly amendment?
It's a friendly amendment.
All right, that will be changed. Is there any more discussion on CB 6804 at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to CB 6806. This is also presented by Clover DeVore. It is the first reading. It is not eligible for a vote. Speaker DeVore, you have the floor.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is, as I said earlier, the bill that I was presenting in place of Adrian, as Adrian is not a member of Student Congress. This is the bill we wrote literally yesterday during my meeting with him and Marcus. Trying to create the Racial Equity and Cultural Empowerment Ad Hoc Committee. This is one of the committees that President Johnson focused on making, the voice committees. This one's focusing on the different diasporas and ethnic groups at Oakland University. Reading through there, many executive actions from entities within the federal government have created a threatening and unsafe environment for students belonging to the different diasporas and ethnic groups on campus, specifically referring to increased visits from Immigration and Customs Enforcement and United States Border Patrol, which has led to students feeling unsafe on Oakland University's campus. The purpose of this committee is to allow students the opportunity to help ensure that Oakland University remains a diverse and open environment through both policy and action. This bill creates an ad hoc committee through Student Congress to take action and advocate for the different diasporas and ethnic groups on campus, and for the student body to have an open forum for them to voice themselves regarding those communities. Like PIB enacted, create an ad hoc committee to address the issues relating to the many different diasporas and ethnic groups on Oakland University's campus, and create a public forum for the advocacy related to those issues. It shall be named the Racial Equity and Cultural Empowerment Committee, or the REACE Committee, so it's named by President Johnson. The chair of this committee shall be Adrian Jimenez Morales, as he spoke earlier as a guest speaker. Should he decide to step down from this position, it shall be elected by a majority vote of the Student Congress legislature. If the chair of this committee happens to become a member of Student Congress, it shall not be a position separate from legislative chair or legislator position. Basically just meaning it wouldn't be separate in terms of pay or anything. It's just extra position. Sorry. The committee shall be a public forum of Student Congress, open to all members of the student body to let their issues be heard. Let their voices be heard on issues affecting the different ethnic groups and diasporas on campus. For clarification, it'll have no member minimum or maximum limit. It's just a forum, and it shall be at minimum once per month. Are there any questions?
Legislator Wolf.
I would find it highly appropriate to include in the title of this committee and the language of this resolution, to add perhaps like make it the racial and religious equity and cultural empowerment committee, because I believe that religion adds a great dimension to issues of culture, ethnicity, and discrimination, as currently in our nation, we've seen like a lot of Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, like etc. I think that is an important dimension to consider in terms of anti-discrimination and equity.
Yeah, I'd be more open to that change. I would have to speak with Adrian on that, as he is the chair of this committee, but see if he would be amenable to that change. All right, I'll talk with him further to make that change potentially. I also wanted to add that I did want to speak to different groups alongside with Adrian, different groups such as the CMI and other cultural groups on campus. It kind of didn't happen because this bill was written like 2:30 yesterday, so I didn't really have a lot of time to do that. But over the next 2 weeks, I definitely hope to work with Adrian to speak to some of those groups, kind of just get their input on this committee as we are creating it.
Legislator Snow.
Hi, I just wanted to say I am entirely unfriendly to that amendment put forward by Legislator Wolf, simply because, while yes, religious groups do deserve to have their voices heard, I feel like the idea of shifting that perspective from the idea of having a committee based entirely around racial equity and the cultural empowerment, because that is what this is focused on, to we're just going to make it all cultures, sort of turns it into a bit of a dilution of what it's supposed to focus on. So while yes, we absolutely could acknowledge, and we do need a group that can focus on acknowledging the pains, the sufferings, and the insults that are held by our different religious groups on campus, such as Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, etc. I feel like as of this moment, it is not appropriate to suggest that we co-opt the Racial Equity and Cultural Empowerment Ad Hoc Committee to do that, especially with the time we are in right now, and the fact that we are at a predominantly white institution, so these voices are already quite marginalized and quite backburnered enough. With that, I yield.
Speaker DeVore.
Yeah, I can definitely stand with Legislator Snell's point. It's not something that me and President Johnson had talked about in our talks about creating these voice committees. But it'd be something I'd definitely be more than open to adding, is a committee focused on the different religious groups on campus. Potentially, I would like to talk with you, Legislator Snell and President Johnson, a little bit more on that in the future, because I would like to see that group added too, as Legislator Wolf did raise a very good point about some of the issues are affecting religious groups as well, and they deserve a platform to raise those concerns as well.
Legislator Wolf.
I recognize legislator Snell's critique, and I am interested in the idea of like a second committee. But once again, I'd like to affirm the importance of intersectionality and how that interplays with ethnicity and culture. There's a lot of cultures and ethnicities that are deeply entwined with, you know, like religious struggles and identities. But I recognize that that this committee may not be specifically about that, but I do think it is definitely something to keep in mind. You know, like nothing can be totally removed from one another. It's all in the context of, you know, the entirety of what makes up, you know, like, what makes up someone's identity. I yield.
Chairperson Leon, Co-Chair Leon, did you solve the point?
Oh, no. No, it was basically what legislator said.
All right, thank you. Legislator Snell?
I just wanted to point out to Legislator Wolf that while yes, intersectionality is important, again, there is also a need that, for example, not all students of color on this campus are religious. So why we need to shoehorn in and give religious issues less precedence because and go away from what this ad hoc committee is supposed to do by diluting the message entirely down to just, well, it's the cultural people and thus othering them, not just within campus, but now within student Congress, is entirely unacceptable. We have space, we have the paper, we have the ability to create two separate and distinctive orgs or ad hoc committees in order to recognize and register and give both issues the chance to shine. Yes, there will be some intersections that come up during the discussion. Yes, there will be intersections over them. However, both are ad hoc committees under the same parent org of the Student Congress. Both is just being put in place to give a chance and an opportunity for these voices that are statistically and systemically marginalized on campus, a chance to be heard, seen, and noted in our discussions. So again, I stand very firmly against the idea of now putting them together just because, well, there might be some overlap, when both issues have very severe consequences going unaddressed, and both need to have full undivided attention within Student Congress. With that, I yield.
Legislator Mays?
I would say I'm not as strongly against Legislator's Wolf amendment, but I do agree with Legislator Snell. I think they should be two different category or two different committees, because usually when it tends to come to race and religion, I'm not gonna lie, usually one of them gets put below the other. I feel like it'll be better if we have two separate committees so we can focus only on those issues and trying to make the campus improve on issues related to them separately. When they're together, sometimes some of the details gets looked over because they're focused on one group or the other. So I feel like maybe two committees would be better. That's all I wanted to add. With that, I yield.
Legislator Waters, Chairperson Waters, my bad.
Thank you. I just wanted to throw my opinion into the ring here. I am somewhat like I would be okay with either or personally. I think both sides, especially I have to hand it to Legislator Mays. I think that was very beautifully said. I feel that either or would be, to me, an acceptable outcome. I feel that it is very important to represent our religious communities on campus. I mean, I feel that, and as well as our cultural ones, and I feel that could be accomplished either within one committee due to intersectionality, or as two separate committees. I would be fine with either or. I just wanted to throw my opinion that I feel that either or would be acceptable. With that, I go.
Legislator Prashandaro?
Similarly, I think that like both of those solutions of having one committee that is integrated and covering all issues, or two separate committees, I think I mean, there's an argument for one committee, which is intersectionality on the one part, and also that like, I mean, certain things, you can't really differentiate them, like racism and Islamophobia are very intertwined. With the question of having a separate committee based on around like religious minority issues, my question is, would we have enough interested people to fill up both committees and have them be substantive? With that, I yield my time.
Legislator Fayette.
Yeah, I just wanted to say after hearing a little bit on both sides, I definitely am more in favor of having two separate committees. The concern of not being able to fill those positions is real, but I feel like we would better represent the student body if we had two separate committees to deal with what seemed to me like two very different issues. And I feel like it would just be better to have two separate committees to kind of focus on those areas. And with that, I yield.
Legislator Mays.
I agree with Legislator Fayette. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry. Two committees is just easier to focus on issues on hand. I know there is intersectionality in different things with both race and religion, but as Legislator Snell mentioned before, like I am a Black woman, but I am not religious. So putting them together, I'm not sure if saying like putting it together with me would really help other people like me. Or maybe someone is Middle Eastern, but they're just so happen or have Middle Eastern lineage, but they're not religious. Or they might be Christian. You wouldn't want to just because of their race and how some people or a lot of people are connected with a certain religion, you wouldn't want to mix them together because it doesn't show everyone on campus. So there's also certain issues like religious people deal with that people of different races don't deal with. And there's definitely some racial issues that people of different religions don't deal with. So I feel like it's really, really important that if there's going to be, we're going to go throughout the rest of, the semester, the years with the government that we're in, that we kind of make sure we hit up on really important issues that are separated by the race and religions. Because you can't always, solve a problem with both in just one committee. You might have to do a deeper dive separately. So that's all I wanted to add on. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Legislator Snell. Legislator Snell.
Honestly, I forgot what I was going to say. Actually, no, I didn't. My bad. I just need to ramble a little bit. So Mario, getting back to your point, I recognize the fear you have of both committees not being able to get filled up because in the religious one, especially because there might not be interest. I feel like at that point though, if there's not enough interest in a specific religious ad hoc religious and cultural empowerment ad hoc committee, then I think we could maybe revisit the conversation of putting them together. However, I find that the idea of combining the two right off the bat, just because, well, there's intersectionality between the two. Not only does that now dilute the strength in the issues of both cultures, since now one has to get put to the back burner because we're focusing on the issues of the other, and vice versa. The other problem is it then goes back to, well, now it sort of comes off as stereotyping, such as Legislator Mays brought up. There are Middle Eastern people who aren't religious. There are Black people who aren't religious. There are Latino people who are not religious. There are people of color who aren't religious. And there are people of color who might not follow the religion that we might think, oh, well, that's your culture. It's part of who you are. It's part of what you should be. So I think it would be more of an insult to them, honestly, if we were to combine the two right off the bat, just because, well, it's intersectional. By that logic, there's intersectionality on literally every voices committee with one another. So why not just have one total voices ad hoc committee? We separate them out not because, oh, well, there's no intersectionality. Oh, there's no unity. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's not that. We separate them out so that way each committee has a chance to hear, has a chance to voice the issues that they are facing within those communities. And we shouldn't just be limiting them down because, oh, well, you know, there's no intersectionality here. There's no, or, oh, there's intersectionality here. Oh, there's a connection here. We can make the connection out of anything. At that point, if we're just going based off of, oh, well, there's intersectionality, when are we going to stop? At what point are we going to stop putting them together and just have one ad hoc committee? And if we're going to just put them into one ad hoc committee, why exactly are we making this ad hoc committee to begin with? With that, I yield.
Chairperson Waters.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something really quick. I feel that maybe like, because I was going to originally say like, if we're going to have if we do decide to go down to 2 committees, I feel that maybe having 2 committees that are in very close contact with each other would be a good idea. But I just wanted to like, I feel like we all need to remain civil. I'm just getting a very bad vibe, and it's just, you know, I apologize. My bad. I yield.
Legislator Wolf.
I find the idea of having 2 committees to tackle both issues is quite agreeable, like seeing the amount of passion and interest people seem to have in this issue. Because I think like at the end of the day, all that matters is that both issues are represented, and both are worked on in tandem. And knowing OSC, I have strong confidence that 2 different committees could in tandem work together to address issues of ethnicity and religion, you know, and how that intersects. But I recognize is Legislator Snell's you know, like addendum that like I definitely think that like I would agree that like it should be revisited if there's a lack of interest in a second committee, and if there's difficulty running both separately. And my final point is that I think that we all need to, you know, try and, you know, speak to each other on the, you know, like I think everyone has great ideas here, and I think that we should work with each other rather than, you know, feeling hostile just because someone had a different, you know, like a different idea. Because I think that like everyone here is having like really amazing ideas, and I loved hearing from Legislator May. I loved hearing from Legislator Krishandaro, and I yield the floor.
Legislator Martino.
Hi, folks. Apologies. Can you still hear me with the mic?
A little bit closer.
I just want to point out that if we are going to move ahead with 2 separate committees, I feel like we should put them together, group them in a bill, much like we did the support of the labor unions on campus. Religion and ethnicity and culture are, like it or not, very intertwined, and if we are going to have 2 separate committees, they should be deeply connected. And I also want to restate the fact that defense of religious rights is not defense of religion. Defense of religious rights also means the defense of the rights not to support any religion. I yield the rest of my time.
Legislator Markowitz.
In a shocker to nobody, I'm going to be a little disagreeable here. I think one thing that we're really good at is making committees. And I think we have to be really careful with our selection of committees because we see, as somebody mentioned, that committees oftentimes just don't get that good of participation. And so I think with that being said, that doesn't mean that both of these things aren't important, but there doesn't have to be a committee for 1 or 2 people to be really passionate about these things and to take a hold of it. Now, the fact that Adrian is not even being in student congress and wants to take a hold of this committee and run with it, I think that's great. I think that makes sense to have a committee. But if we see some other areas with regards to religion that are overlapping, and maybe he feels like they're too overwhelmed and they don't have availability to take it on, I'm sure there's other people within student congress that can take it on without adding just more meeting hours to our overall pay. With that, I yield.
Thank you. With that, our discussion time has elapsed due to this being the first reading of this bill. And for time's sake, I will not be entertaining motions to extend the discussion time. We will move on. Next, we will move to CR 6810. This is presented by Emily Lunger. This is the first reading and it is eligible for a vote. Legislator Lunger, you have the floor.
Hi, this is a resolution that allows half-time, three-quarters time, and students that can't attend full-time every semester to receive scholarships like the Academic Excellence Awards and the Phi Theta Kappa Award. This applies to first-year students and transfer students, whereas the OU Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships only allows full-time students registered for 12 credit hours or more every semester to receive scholarships for high academic achievement. Some students are unable to register full-time every semester due to various reasons, including tuition and materials costs, medical conditions, transportation issues, family life, and or work schedules. Half-time, three-fourths time, and students who are unable to attend full-time each semester do not receive any scholarships for their hard work and are ineligible for most forms of financial aid, which forces them into dealing with the burden of high tuition and material costs. Let it hereby be resolved by the members of the legislature and the executive board of the Oakland University Student Congress for the betterment of campus and student life. The Oakland University Student Congress supports and calls on the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships to open up scholarship opportunities to half-time and three-fourths time students that have earned academic excellence in high school or previous colleges.
Thank you, Legislator Lunger.
Does anyone have any questions?
Is there any discussion on CR 6810 at this time? Legislator Prashandaro.
I don't have a question, but I'm strongly in support of this bill as a student that fits this demographic. I started at Oakland University on a scholarship, and I had lost that scholarship and have continued part-time since then. So it would be personally good for me, and I think it would be empathetic and understanding to students who have, non-standard college careers and, just different life situations. So I'm very in support of this.
Legislator Markowitz.
So I'm going to motion to table this bill, and I wanted to give some context as to why. So I spoke with Emily before the meeting about this, but I wrote some legislation probably like 6 or 8 months ago that encouraged very similar things. And Zach also is actually working on very similar things with regards to scholarships. But the feedback that I've gotten from the Office of Financial Aid is that it's really just not feasible right now for them. And so, Marion, I don't know if she's in the meeting, and I know I'm using nobody's oh my goodness, formal titles. So forgive me. But Marion is working really hard, and it's something that I've been checking in with her. And at this time, I know probably a couple weeks ago that I checked in, she said just kind of leave it be for the moment. And so I think that we should find out what the school is agreeable to, and then we can go ahead and pass a resolution that affirms our support for these kind of initiatives and combine all the legislation that we've just kind of been sitting on. With that, I yield.
So there's a motion on the floor to postpone CR 6810. Do we have a counter to that motion?
Yes, I counter it. I actually, we can this is the first reading. We could have a second reading at the next GBM and vote on it. Maybe maybe we can meet with the Marcus can meet with the financial aid office and discuss this, because I actually think this is very important. I actually lost my Phi Theta Kappa scholarship because I wasn't able to attend full time every semester. And the first, actually, my very first semester at Oakland, I took 2 courses at Oakland and 1 at Macomb, and I thought I was considered full time because I was dual enrollment. But I didn't realize all 3 courses had to be at OU. And I lost the award. I didn't realize you lose it permanently for not being able to attend full time every semester. And I did. And I don't want other students to face this. And I don't believe part time and 3/4 time students or students that can't be full time every semester should lose, have to deal with the high burden of tuition and material costs. I think they should have something that they should have some financial relief that could help them out, especially if they have high academic honors.
Legislator Lunger, would you be favorable towards continuing discussion on this resolution and then postponing it to the next meeting for us to vote on it then?
Yes, that would be fine.
Then we will do that. Continuing discussion on CR 6810. Legislator Fayette, you have the floor.
I was just gonna say that I am in full support of this resolution, just because I think it is important that we allow these scholarships to go to people who can't attend full time. I know as someone who is one of the only people in my family, or one of the 2 people in my family that was able to go to college, it's extremely hard for people, especially in impoverished communities like mine, to get a higher education, especially full time. I know a lot of my friends at work who do attend, they attend Jackson College or Jackson, Jackson College, are unable to attend full time, and that causes financial struggles for them, even though they are going to like a university like Oakland, and it is cheaper for them. I think by passing this, it would allow more opportunities for us to work on getting those scholarships to those people that are unable to have the finances to go to college full time. And with that, I yield.
Legislator Mays, you have the floor.
Hello. I would say I very much do agree with this bill, but I do have a little hesitancy to pass it yet. I know we still gotta, discuss it next meeting. But I feel like I'd rather talk more with the financial aid office about this first, like what Lance was saying. I just wanna If we pass this, I just want it to be really feasible, or a little bit more feasible than just passing it and having nothing happen and then having this like, well, we tried, but if we do pass it next meeting, I would be happy. But I just feel like it needs a little bit more time, and we need to speak a little bit more with the financial aid office, because this is very important. But it's also very important that we keep in contact with the people who are going to be able to make it feasible for us. With that, I yield.
Legislator Maku, you have the floor.
I have a similar concern regarding timing. So, a few weeks ago, alongside Legislator Markowitz and Legislator Brummer, I sponsored a resolution about scholarships. So I just feel like if we vote on this resolution right now or within the next few weeks, we'd be throwing too much at administration at one time. President Johnson has been telling me recently that administration is planning to email me about the other resolution. So I would like to meet with Legislator Brummer, Legislator Markowitz, President Johnson, and administration, or if not meeting with them in person, at least communicating with them via email about the other resolution that we passed a few weeks ago before moving on to a new scholarship resolution.
Thank you very much, Legislator Maku. Is there any more discussion on CR 6810 at this time? Seeing none, we will move on. Moving on to old business, seeing as in the last, one of the last meetings, we had, some, confusion on whether or not a chair could present, their own bills and resolutions. We have done that in the past, however, there was, conversation about how Robert's rules did not allow that, we should no longer do that. The chair would look favorably upon a motion to postpone CB 6805 until the next meeting, if anyone would like to propose such a thing.
Motion to postpone.
Thank you, Parliamentarian Vella. Is there a second?
I second.
Like a second from Legislator Wolf, and with that, CB 6805 has been postponed. Moving on to discussion, is there any discussion at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to legislative updates. Speaker of the Legislature DeVore, you have the floor.
Right. So, past couple weeks, I've been meeting with, legislative leadership along with last week's legislature meeting, kind of just to try to evolve the, General Assembly reform idea that I've been working on for the past couple weeks. Kind of the resounding answer I've gotten in talks with the legislature and legislative leadership is, kind of nixing the idea in general in favor of doing something else. So, an idea that Majority Leader Brummer proposed earlier was doing General Assembly more as a, as issues come up rather than just, this is something we do at this specific time. Because the issue we've currently had is there is no student engagement because they're just expected to come to us for what, just any random reason that we just oh, we're student congress, we're pretty cool. So that's not something I'm gonna try to work with Majority Leader Brummer on that idea because I believe that is a good way to get more student engagement as we go on. I'll be working with her on that, along with working with Legislator Markowitz on a upcoming student engagement task force. Initiative I want to keep pursuing is getting more engaged with student orgs on campus. Because as time has gone on with Student Congress, we've just kind of grown disconnected from the campus community. And as an organization that's supposed to be students representing students, we have not succeeded in doing that. So I'm gonna be working with legislative leadership further, along with Legislator Markowitz and Majority Leader Brummer again, to evolve that task force into being an idea we've had is doing a sign-up sheet to have us go to a couple different orgs during the semester or during the year entirely, kind of just pitching us as Student Congress to them, trying to build some more personal and professional relationships with some of the student orgs on campus, along with an idea Legislator Markowitz had of potentially collabing with more clubs to try to work together on events, just because we think that's a good way to help market ourselves. Other things I've also been working on throughout the past couple weeks. I've met with President Johnson. I'm forgetting what we were talking about, but oh yeah, we were talking about creating more of the voice committees, and it brought up the disability support committee that I believe Legislator Snow was working on putting together. And I said, ideally, a chair could be someone that's the liaison to DSS. And he told me, well, there is no liaison to DSS. Why? There's actually no liaisons to any of the support services on campus. Why not? So I'm gonna be working to try to meet with some of them, specifically DSS and DSS. I know there's more, but I'm not thinking of any off the top of my head. But trying to create liaison positions for them, because I think us having a more reliable line of communication between them would be very beneficial to both of us. So we're representing all groups all parts of our campus community. Outside of that, I've worked with Chairperson Ludwig quite a bit on trying to put together that committee. We'll be trying to get that up and running here once that bill is passed, hopefully next meeting in 2 weeks. Outside of that, yeah, that's about all I got at the moment.
Next, we move on to updates related to legislative leadership. First, I will give myself the floor as you chair. I haven't been working on too much just because last week I didn't come into the office. I was very mentally burnt out, so I took a little time to myself. But I am currently working on my generative AI ban, which will hopefully be passed next week. I wasn't aware I was going to have to chair this meeting until about, I want to say, an hour and a half, 2 hours before the meeting. So there's that. Today I submitted a research request to the Research and Review Committee. Did a research request to the Research and Review Committee to have them research a lot of like bills that have amended our bylaws, adding requirements for us that have not been actually put into our bylaws, which is a very common case. I've noticed this several times in my research, just looking at old versions of our bylaws, old bills that have passed. And unfortunately, I don't have the time to gather all that information myself. And the Judiciary Committee will be working in tandem with the Research and Review Committee to ensure that those instances are found and put into our bylaws. Oh yes, for my AI, generative AI ban bill. If you have, there's a lot of suggestions at the last meeting. Not a single person actually talked with me to hammer those out. If anyone wants to add anything in its current form, please talk with me or add a suggestion to the document. It is completely open for suggestions, and if you suggest it, I will more than likely add it in there. Oh yes, excused absences. I the excused absence form can always be found in the same place every week. If you look at the email that contains the agenda, it is always linked to that email. You don't necessarily have to message me every week and ask for it. It is not a different form every week for each meeting. It is the same. It never changes. It's always in the same place. And if you have any inquiries regarding your status with absences and when you've missed, when you haven't, just ask me. I'm more than willing to tell you that information. You can contact me over Slack. You can contact me via my number, which is also connected to my Slack. If you have me on any other social media, that suffices as well. I'm not very picky. But with that, I yield the floor. Is there any other members of the legislative leadership that would like to give a report at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to updates related to legislative projects and initiatives. Is there any legislators that would wish to give an update at this time? Legislator Markowitz.
So, couple things. I've been working like a dog on the spike ball tournament. We're getting more sponsors every single week. But with promoting it, I could really use everybody's help. If you could throw that flyer and the sign up link that I threw in the Slack and probably everywhere already, just like on your Snapchat or Instagram or anywhere else you can think. Also, if you know of companies that you think might be interested in sponsoring, please send them my way. And then additionally, I'm a part of the Pedagogical Partnership Program, which is a program that is through the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, and we do class observations. And so we go into faculty's classrooms, we observe, we fill out a rubric, and then we give them feedback. And so if that's a program you're interested in, we'll be beginning again in the fall, so please let me know. At the moment, though, we are actually working on publishing an article about our work in Wiley, so that's super exciting, and I've been working very hard at both of those things. With that, I yield.
Speaker DeVore.
I just wanted to clarify one thing too, because legislator Markowitz did bring it up to me a couple days ago. So the legislative updates document right there, I need to do better at sending that out a little bit before the meeting. I do apologize. But that document right there is just a big list of all your names. And if you're working on anything at the moment, anything at all, just write in there, what are you working on? We'd love to hear about what you've done over the past couple weeks. I leave it open to being updates from in between GBMs. But basically that's just a list to show like, hey, this is some stuff I've been working on. This is like also a place where other people can go to like, hey, this is what this other person's working on. Maybe I want to work on that with them. But it's something that I've not been utilizing correctly. I do apologize to everybody for that. But I'll be working on sending that out earlier, just so everybody can like, get together and work on things a little bit better. Plus also say, hey, this is what I've been working on over the past couple weeks. I think that'd be really neat to see that. That's all I had.
A point of information about that legislative updates. One of the things that I noticed is that a lot of us are doing the same work as each other without realizing it and independently. And so that will be very helpful for when you want to start a new initiative of just taking a quick look at that and seeing if somebody's already doing it.
Thank you for that point of information, Legislator Markowitz. Is there any other legislative updates related to legislative projects or initiatives at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to questions related to legislative reports. Does anyone have any questions for anyone who gave a report? Chairperson Waters.
Thank you. I just wanted to have a quick question for Legislator Markowitz, and that is that sign up sheet for, is that for helping with the event or actively participating in the event? Because as the legislative leadership found out, earlier today, I am not a very athletic individual. And I would much rather help organize the event than actually play in it. With that, I yield.
I'm gonna be so honest, I wasn't listening, but that sounds like a question for me. No, I know the question. So to answer your question, yes, that is to sign up. Don't worry, I have your name written down and everything, Jack. So you'll definitely be able to help out with the planning of it. But there is a beginner division. So that is something too. But I'm not gonna let you sign up for the division now because you can help me. Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions related to legislative reports at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to liaison report. Oh, Legislator Snell, did you have a question related to legislative reports?
Yeah, so to Legislator Markowitz, when is that tournament actually, or have you settled down on a date yet?
Yeah, it's September 10th from 5 to 10 p.m. at the Upper Fields.
Where is the Upper Fields?
So you know where the apartments are by Vandy?
No.
So let's see I'm not good with my roads, but somebody might need to help me here. It's like right before you get to the dome. Do you know where the dome is?
Thank you, Cullen. Cullen explained it.
Thank you.
Would it help or would you mind signing me up also to help? Because while I'm not athletic, I don't mind helping administratively run things.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Are there any other questions related to legislative reports at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to liaison reports. Are there any liaisons that would wish to give the report at this time?
Yes, I'm the PCO liaison. I wish to report that PCO has successfully successfully recruited a new e-board for PCO consisting of mostly OUSC legislators. I'm secretary. Javier Rosario is president, legislator Maku is treasurer, and former legislator Zoeb Ali is vice president. And we're reaching out to our advisor Mary Jamison, and we're also reaching out to Dr. Fay. Of the student organic farm. We're trying to plan some gardening events and some craft events, for later this summer and the fall semester. So if anybody's interested, let me know. And I would also like OUSC to collaborate with PCO for planning events and being part of, major events like Beaver Fest. That would be great. With that, I yield the floor.
Are there any other liaison reports at this time? Board of Trustees Liaison Jimena Garcia.
Oh, it's been so, this is so low.
You can take it off the stand.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's been so nice seeing everyone today. Although there's a lot of people online, but everyone in person, it's been really great seeing you all, and hearing from you all. I just have some quick stuff to talk about regarding the last Board of Trustees meeting that I attended on.
Jimena, just to quickly interrupt you, Legislator Snell says she cannot hear you.
Maybe I can stand closer to the computer.
Maybe that'd probably work.
I will say
Can you hear me now?
the audio for me was clear, so it might just be like a connection thing.
Can you hear me a little better now?
I'll take that resounding silence as a yes or no. I don't know actually.
I can hear it fine.
Lovely. Okay.
All right, thank you. Well, I'll still try to speak a little bit louder, but I just said that it was really great seeing everyone today. And I just wanted to give a quick summary of the Board of Trustees meeting that I attended on June 27th. Wow, that was a long time ago. Basically, during the president's report, one thing that was, I won't go through everything, but I'll just go through the things that caught my eye. President Peskovitz touched on some areas of concern that she had regarding funding that we get through the state, but also federal stuff that's going on. I think a lot of funding is with regards to funding, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, both federally and through the state legislature. So she touched upon a little bit of that, but it seems like they have a lot of different scenarios played out and already for different scenarios. Also, let's see, I know she talked about some trips that she went on and a lot of like just good accomplishments that the OU campus has been working on, but I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to talk about before I jump into the thing that I really wanted to talk about. One of the things that they brought up was a data center that they were interested in, that OU was interested in building, particularly in parking lot 35. I believe P35 is kind of like on the side of campus, like where the engineering center is at. So it's one of the parking lots that aren't really used. They talked a little bit about how that's kind of part of like the strategic and campus plan. Basically, there's a committee that's researching it right now, going through the RFP process, and RFP process is where they're like taking bids from different firms to see who can build it. And so it's supposed to be a source of revenue, but also an opportunity for students. I'm a little bit concerned about it. I definitely want to learn more before I make any conclusions. But I am a little concerned about it. Just to give a little bit more information, some things that they mentioned, this is particularly from just like the document that they provided. They mentioned smart campus technology, AI research, digital learning, research opportunities for students. It's supposed to be for, it says that it's adjacent to a DTE substation, so DTE is going to be utilizing it. So yeah, right now they're looking for a vendor. They're going through that process this summer. It seems like around fall is when they're gonna have a vendor, and then they're gonna like, develop a plan, and then get approval from the Board of Trustees. When I was doing some research online, it seems like bids for the RFP process are due July 29th. So that's coming up in some 5 days. I remember that one of like the board members had asked for a list of all the vendors that had submitted bids, and I think that would be an excellent thing to look at. So I'm trying to get some more information, but I haven't been able to get too much. But yeah, that's all I guess what I wanted to talk about. And if anyone is interested in working with me to, one, get more information about this, two, I don't know, I guess try to find like a strategic plan about, I don't know, just learning more about it and seeing what we can do with it. And obviously there's still a lot more information that we need, but I don't know, I guess I'm just a little concerned about like the environmental aspects and any privacy, security concerns regarding our data, things like that. Obviously we need to learn more information, but if anyone's interested in investigating this more with me, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Liaison Garcia. Is there any other liaisons that would like to give the report at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to the executive reports. First up, we have the student body president, in which Speaker DeVore has a report for President Johnson, who is not here today.
Sorry, I stole the microphone from her a little bit too early. Okay, so just giving President Johnson's report really quick. He said, just a reminder for payroll, people, you actually have to swipe in to get paid during the week. So you have to swipe in, the clocking machine is down that little really sketchy hallway with the storage rooms. I know people don't like going down there, but it's the only one down there that, to my knowledge, works. So you can go down there, just swipe in, just say your.
There's one in the OSI as well.
There's also one in the OSI, so not the scary room. Okay. But yeah, you have to swipe in at some point during the week, otherwise you are going to be unable to be paid because, you know, can't prove that you're on campus actually working if you're not clocked in. So just, yeah, make sure you're doing that, just so Jen can put you in the system, just so she can say that you work during the week. Mark's also said he's meeting with the provost on Fridays to discuss the implementation of the midterm grade policy he's been currently working on. Outside of that, he talked with the dean of students about the usage of preferred names and mailings as passed in a resolution a couple weeks ago. He said that the way our infrastructure is currently set up, we don't currently have the option to create an opt-in, opt-out system for usage of preferred names. He's going to try talking with the chief tech officer here on campus to see what it would take to create one. And he's also in the future going to be filing an inquiry to the Race Issue Review Committee, see how other universities in Michigan handle preferred name usage and outside communication. And finally, later this week, he also says he's going to send out a went to meet for the people that want to join the marketing committee. So if you have any interest in that, I would suggest filling out that went to meet. One last thing, he did also want me to ask about the programming schedule and just legislative initiative portion of the budget. Obviously, Nia's out of the country and we don't have a financial officer yet. So Marcus is kind of left alone to do the entire budget by himself. I really kind of feel bad for him for doing that. But to any legislative initiatives or anything that you would want budgeted for any event at all, please let me or Marcus know because we need to add it in the budget. We'll be putting it up for the first reading on, I believe, August 6th is our last meeting of the summer semester. So yeah, if you have any events coming up or anything you want money set aside for, please let one of us know. That's about all I had for President Johnson's report.
I believe we don't, but do we have anything for Vice President Matthews? I do not. Okay. We will move on then to updates related to eBoard projects and initiatives. Are there any eBoard members that would like to give any updates related to what they've been up to?
Okay. Next time I see all of you guys, it will be the fall funding period. Our next finance training is on July 30th from 5 to 6:30. You must complete both that training and the policies and procedures training in order to submit requests.
Thank you. For the record, that was Chairperson Ludwig. Is there any other updates related to eBoard projects and initiatives at this time? Seeing none, we move on to our OUSC advisor, Jean Ann Miller. Advisor Miller. I don't think so.
Okay, so, I just wanted to make a recommendation. I think the discussion we had about scholarships is great, of full-time versus part-time. But you also need to understand that many of those scholarships have conditions that were put on by the donors and whatnot, that is not necessarily flexible, but the need to address part-time, I think is excellent. But I would really, really encourage you to invite Nicole Bullock, who is the Director of Finance or Financial Aid and Scholarships, because she can answer those questions. I think you have to have a dialogue with her. But also today, I was in a cabinet meeting and she was also sharing a lot of stuff that you're going to need to know about the bill that was just passed and how it's going to affect financial aid opportunities for you, undergraduate and graduate level. And so I would really encourage you to invite her so that you're in the know and what's going to be happening. now, in a couple months, and in the next year, because it really is gonna affect everyone and able to go to be in higher education at Oakland University. So I just want to encourage that. Thank you.
Thank you, Advisor Miller. Moving on, are there any comments from the gallery at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to announcements. Are there any announcements at this time? Advisor Miller.
I would really like to encourage all of you, if you are capable of giving blood. We have a blood drive next Tuesday. It's in honor of an individual who used to work in OSI and also was an extremely active undergraduate and graduate student at Oakland University, Daryl Blackburn. We're having that. It's Tuesday, 10 to 3, right down the hallway. If you are capable of giving blood, and if there is such a need for it, that I would really encourage you, anyone that's online, and your family and friends to come and give. It's such a worthy cause, just because everybody needs blood. It's a gift of life, but it also is honoring Daryl Blackburn too. Thanks.
Thank you, Advisor Miller. Are there any other announcements at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to adjournment. This meeting of the general body will adjourn at 7:06 p.m. Good day, everyone.
Have a great night, everyone.
Have a good night, y'all.